Doug Ide from Guide Ide Fishing out here with Mark Torbert and Brad Mikert from Lakeside Bait and Tackle. A lot of people keep asking us about our planer boards. I know Lakeside Bait and Tackle a couple of years ago had us come in and give a clinic about them. Mark's looking to buy some, so we figured if we made a video with Mark in the boat asking me questions, be more things that I usually don't say because I don't think to say because I think people know. So what we're going to do is we're on Geneva. We're just going to run a 4-board set and 2 long lines. We'll get a couple Rockies to hit them. I'll explain the Tattle flag system and all of that just so you can see everything. And if any questions, email Lakeside Bait and Tackle, go on their Facebook page, or email me, guideide at gmail.com or guideidefishing.com. We'll try to answer everything we possibly can. I do have 3 different clips on my boards. Let me start with that. It's the mini lockjaw. Just real basic, simple, closes on the line. It's OR18, my favorite. Snap it down, line's closed. The 16 is what your board comes with. There's a little pin behind it if you can see it. Put your line behind there, which I'll show you that in a second. When you buy your board, your flag's stationary. I put the Tattle flag system on mine. Board's $32 anywhere you go. I think that's what Lakeside Bait and Tackle sells them for. They do have a Tattle flag system, which is $9.99 for the basic system. For the system with the clips and everything was $17.99. Tattle flag does is when we do walleyes and light biting fish, that fish pulls, that flag drops. Right now I got my spring tension pretty high. On one of my Facebook posts the other day, a guy says, well, why is your board pulling like that? You don't have it weighted right. It wasn't that I don't have it weighted right, it said I do multi-species, I guide twice a day. When I'm running big musky lures, my boards are gonna sit funny in the water. Right now we're just gonna run flicker minnows and salmos, like I said, just to hit rock bass, so my board's gonna sit up. They do run different, still same effect. This board drops back, you gotta fish. This flag goes, you gotta fish. Let's get to running them. We'll pause it for a second while we set up real quick. So I'm gonna lead with a jointed flicker. On the back of your flicker minnow package, there's always a dive chart. Just remember when you run the jointed ones, they dive a foot deeper per that dive chart. So if that dive chart says, 55 feet, I think 8 feet down on number 7, run it 45 feet or 48 feet. I usually stop on an even number because it's good luck. Just trying to slow this boat down just a touch. Actually, with the wind behind us, I could probably turn the kicker off and just run the electric. Line counter's at 0. Just real basic. Let her out. I'm running 12-pound XT. I've got a 14-pound fluorocarbon leader. I always run fluorocarbon leaders, and I'm a big fan of Seagar, the Blue Label. It's a laser extruded line. It's 14 through and through. When you get into the cheaper monos or anything like that that's just extruded, there's a tolerance they have to hold. So say it's supposed to be 10 pound, it could be 8 pound here, 12 pound here. You get into the laser extrudeds, they're spot on every time. So I ran it 42 feet back. It's real simple. And this you don't have to do, but you got to remember my boards are in the water every day. So mine get wore out. I take it, put it in. You can just close it. If you pull hard enough, it'll slide through on you. So I always just wrap it one time. Now she can't slide anywhere. You want to put slack in this. See there's a pin in there? This line you want behind that pin. That way if something hits it, it can't pull out. Now since I have slack, that flag can come down. Now the way I do this, especially got to remember we're on Geneva, it's a Friday, it's kind of busy. The way I do it so I don't get backlash and so I can start setting my next one and we're not waiting, I just set the clicker on my reel, open my rod holder. Next one I'm going to run to Selmo. While that's going out, I'm setting this one. Again, for me, I like the Okuma Pros. fits in my rod locker because it's collapsible. And I'm a huge fan of the Okuma cold water reels for this. I like the line counter, they're pretty durable. I've never had a problem with them. So, but I can shut that kicker off. That electric's pulling us just fine. So I stopped it at 120. You watch that board, it'll start to come around for us. I ran that salmo a little bit deeper. Different clip, running the 16, there's a pin in it. So I want to be behind the pin. Again, mine are wore out a little bit, so I always wrap it once.
Put that second wrap behind the pin as well?
Yep, always. Set it behind the pin, a little bit of slack, flag will go down. Running a lure that small, you can change your spring tension, but I do it so much, I just know if this board falls out of line, I know what's going on. And for some reason all my rod holders are locked up.
Will that tattle flag still go down with the smaller lure? Or?
Something hits it, yeah. Or it'll fall out of line, one of the two. Custom rod that I run, no big deal. It's just 7 foot M7 graphite, super fast. There you go, it's fish. There's a fish. See how your flag's down, your board's back? Top and bottom, pull it up at you. There you go.
No time.
Yeah. Good. This is important.
There we go.
All right, so Mark's gonna step back and give me this board. See how he's not trying to wind the board through the guides? Unclip it. Unclip it. A lot of times I just drop it right on the ground. Did we lose him, Mark?
I think so.
Yep, maybe. You lost him. You lost him. No big deal.
Like a pro.
Hey, you know when you're setting the first one out, or the second one out, and it happens, you want to drop this to about 60. Right, the reason we're going to get smaller fish is you've seen how small the lures I'm running. It's more about getting the board to hit, getting that on film so you know what you're looking for, than it is about anything else right now. So when I put this clicker on, this board's going to start working that way.
You don't want that in the middle, though. It should be on this side, right? Yep.
I'm just too impatient to wait for it to go out. Throw the mini lock jaw on this one. In, around, closed. Through the back one behind the pin, slack in it, done. I put it too close together. The far one got one on. The other board and a Rocky. know everybody does things different. When I run boards, I never, ever set the hook. Because it's set when the fish gets it. And just trolling, I know everybody does that different too, but I really slow them down. Seems to bring my rate up on the fish I get to the boat just by slowing them down a lot. This is like the other day when you and I were together.
Yeah.
We're not going to get a board set. See how the flag's down, board's down, there's a fish on it.
Good fish too.
Rocky.
Yeah.
Dude, nice bluegill. Nice bluegill, Mark.
That is a damn.
You can tell we're both pan fishermen because
Right.
we're bringing in panfish.
Get excited over a bluegill.
Right? Be a 30-inch pike and we're like, okay. Get a nice bluegill and we're like, all right.
So when you to get the space between the boards, that's all dependent on how much line you put out after you clip your board in.
We're running both of them lures 40 feet back. Or 40 feet behind the board. 38 feet, I forgot. It's something close to that. This board's going to come up. So I got 30 feet in between them. I got this line counter set at 120, this one's set at 90. Notice how this one's slowly starting to come up. They're going to kind of get in a V behind you. I like it when I can get them lined up with each other. Because if you get one that doesn't, like I've drug 18-inch walleyes for, you know, where I've seen them behind the board and the board's never done nothing because they've swam with it. So I like them lined up. If that board falls out of line, I know something's on it.
Easier to visual.
You know, that's like being on Geneva. It's real easy because you're going to hit 100 rock bass if you run something small. And if you ever wanted to get to know how to run your boards, it's a just great place to do it. Like you're a trout guy. You go down to Lake Michigan and that king salmon hits it. I've had them salmon just drop the board back real slow. I've also had them kings take that board under the water.
There you go. Next side.
We're still trying to set boards out. So, there you go. Mini lockjaw, real easy. Open, line falls out. Open, back flip, line falls out. All right, our second one went down again. We were gonna run 6 boards. We can't because we just can't get them out. So a lot of times I'll just pull it, give it a little bit of line. Like I said, we're fishing smaller bait, smaller fish. Since I pulled the line a little bit, you can see how that flag went right back down. It's not coming up. Means the fish is still there. See how that board's kind of pulling sideways? That means the fish is still there. If this didn't have a fish on it, that board would have came right to me. Especially when I'm pulling it out of the water like that. Rocky.
Yeah. What's the crock?
Why'd you do that?
Board.
Hey, that's funny. You said board and we're supposed to be running boards.
There you go. Different kind of board. I just wanted my fancy cross in the movie.
Okay.
Alright. So this just goes
Yep.
easy. Easy. Oh no.
It's alright, dude. Takes a second. Yep, slammer closed. Alright, the only thing you're doing is you got this on backwards. So just put it this way. There you go.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Even with your line.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yep.
You're good, Mark.
And then slack in there.
Hey, first time you ever tried it, you're doing good. Doing better than me. First time I ever did it, I drug a lake trout about a frickin' mile because I didn't understand it's what the board is supposed to do.
Now slack.
Perfect.
Right on.
It. I mean, literally, it's that simple, Mark. And sorry, we don't have a whole set out. We can't get past 3 boards before we get a fish. So, I mean, it's what we're trying to do, which is working out good. But I'd like to get a whole set out. So what I did was, I know this one had a fish on it. I was setting this one back when it happened. So all I did was drop this one behind it and bring this one to the boat. So what it did is it'll make this my inside one now, and my third one became my middle one. Oh, we weren't behind the pin on the back of the board.
Oh, that why the flag's down?
Yeah, we weren't behind the pin.
Sorry, I'm kind of tall.
Remember when that front one around there to kind of hold it in?
Oh.
That tighter so it doesn't slip or anything. Because this one had weeds on it. The good thing about the board is the board catches the majority of your weeds. So 9 out of 10 times your lure's still running good. Turning that steering wheel ain't gonna help you. It's on autopilot. Trying to steer, You're trying to hold on to something on a Friday afternoon on Geneva? So I'm still gonna make this my outside one. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let it get back as far as I want it to be. And I'm going to put the board on it, and I'm going to let the board fall straight back. When I get to about 130 feet of line, I'm going to close it and put the board right around both of those. All right, so we weeded this one up. We're still going to make it our outside board. Normally, I just make these, move both of these, and those become my outside, but we're going to do this different just so we can show a video on it. So instead of putting my clicker on to slowly put it out, I'm just going to let her fall. I got that one set at 88. To get this one about 30 feet past it, I'm going to drop this one to about 128. Well, it'll be 40 feet. But I lied, 124. Now if you watch this board, it's going to come all the way around these. Since my rods are all set at the same distance up, I don't have to worry about this snagging anything. She's just going to come right around and become my outside board. See how they're all starting to line up a little bit? Now you watch, I'll turn left a little bit, and the whole set of them will fall back more at an angle. do is I would turn this one, my front one. Now it's easier, now there's nothing in your way.
Gotcha.
So again, just real simple. Push that down, bring that around, close.
Yep.
Behind the pin, done.
Nothing else changes if you're fishing crappie, northern, blah, blah, blah.
I don't run crappies on boards though. Reason being, and I know you can do it, they make the tiny boards for it.
Right.
We're really kicking over the top of the weeds. Even having the pole in your hand, you're hitting weeds all the time. I'm not gonna wind these two in to get to that board every 5 minutes. And I'm usually got the boat in 12 feet of water, 9 feet of water, and I got everything so close, it's just not worth running the board for. I know a lot of guys do, like down on Tennessee River by my dad's house, they do.
But that's time down south.
Yeah, when we were down here though, we were 15 feet of water and we were on a plane that had weeds a foot up. You know, when we were fishing our lures like 5 feet down, that's different. I'd run the heck out of it. I'd run a 8-board set behind you. But up here, you get onto Geneva, Delavan, Milwaukee, Beulah, Conomowoc, Okachi. We're primarily fishing them over the top of the weeds. So you got your board set, right? Right now I got the boat running 1.7 miles an hour. Every time I turn right, these ones slow down, these ones speed up. Every time I turn left, the exact opposite. These slow down, these speed up.
Yeah.
Especially when you're doing walleyes. See how our board's falling back right now? It's actually got weeds on it. But that's why it's falling out. So when you start turning a little bit here and there because you're not catching, if you notice your fire ones went because they went faster, then speed your boat up. If your other ones went because you went slower on the turn, slow your boat down. So a lot of times if you're not doing nothing, just turn the boat a couple times. I hope everybody liked the video we did. Please subscribe to our YouTube channels. It helps us a lot. If you have any questions, email Lakeside Bait and Tackle or email myself. Thanks for Mark for coming out with us and giving us a hand. I hope we were informative. And again, if you have any questions, please contact Lakeside Bait and Tackle or contact Guide Eyed Fishing. And I hope you guys have a good time on the water.